Sock knitting is supposed to be easy. I finally finished the sucker. It's in a cute little skein. I've been dying to show you this project. Hey, welcome to Golden Hour Knitwear. I'm Camry, and this is a channel where we talk about knitting and spinning and dyeing yarn and all the fun fiber goodness. I have a load of stuff to show you, just all at my feet here. So many finished objects, but the ends aren't woven in, sorry. And acquisitions and new projects, all sorts of things. So I'm excited to show you everything. It's been 3 weeks since our last episode. I just needed time to dye yarn and get it out because I had my first collection launch a couple weeks ago, and I've been dyeing the yarn and sending it all out, so that's very exciting. So I took last week to dye yarn and just kind of decompress from everything that's been going on in the last 3 weeks. It's been a crazy 3 weeks, which I'll update you a little bit on all those things. But yes, today we also have, I will announce the winner of the giveaway from 3 weeks ago in episode number 7. So I'll put the winner down here on the screen. Congratulations for winning. Just send me an email at goldenhour.knitwear@gmail.com. Send me your shipping information and I can get that sent off to you this week. If I don't get a response from the winner within the next 2 weeks, I will draw a new winner and send it out to somebody so that it can get a good home. All right, so the last 3 weeks, it's been a lot. So let's see, we've mostly finished the kitchen renovation. Some of you know, I talk about that a little bit here and there, but we finished the kitchen renovation besides the backsplash. We're just picking out a black splash. We might go with black hexagons, which would be fun. I did a lot of yarn dyeing, not just for orders. I've been doing other dyeing stuff as well. I participated in, I didn't run the whole thing, participated in a half marathon with my in-laws and my husband, and let's see, finished a lot of stuff. My mom came to visit. We went to a fiber fest. Sorry, I'm looking around at all the things to make sure I don't forget anything. I think that's it. I think that's it. So it's been crazy. It's been busy. It's been fun. It's been fun. So I'll show you all the things. It's been a lot, but it's fun. So let's start with finished objects. The one I'm wearing right now is a finished object. It was so close to being done 3 weeks ago. I finished it like a day or two after I uploaded that video. I can't remember, but it was such a quick knit. This is the mini mock neck tank by Jessie Maed Designs, and it's really fun. I like the fit of it. I can't really show very well. It fits really nice. I don't know for sure if I got gauge, but it fits, and I like the way it fits, so it's all good. The color is very bright for me and very bold for me, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of spunky and fun, so I like it. I'm just scared to wear it sometimes. This color is the Hello Fall color from my first collection, which is all over now and closed, and most of the orders have been sent out. I'll send out the last couple orders in the next day or two. I just need to re-dye some things. But this one is on fingering weight, my fancy fingering weight base, and it's kind of tweedy. This isn't dyed speckled, it just has speckled, like little bits of tweed, kind of. It's not like marketed as a tweed, but it looks kind of tweedy as you can see. Tweedy as you can see. But it's really fun. It was a very quick knit. I mean, it's only, for my size, only around 400 yards of yarn. So one skein, bam, you're done. So quick. So that was really enjoyable. I need to knit more of these because I also really love the fit. The only thing I would change is maybe not do the neckline so tall. I think I even did it a little bit shorter than called for, but it's kind of bugging me a little bit. So we will see. If I ever do it again, I might do a little bit shorter there. But mini mock neck tank, it's a great pattern. I can see why everybody's in love with it now because it's really great. I love it. Okay, the next finished objects. I know some of you get triggered when people say they have a finished object, but the ends are not woven in or blocked. But I'm sorry, I gotta show them anyways. I mean, I gotta show it somehow. Anyway, so so this is the colorway from my sock set club that I'm doing. I have some people that I'm sending yarn out to once a month for sock sets. And this was the September colorway. I don't think I've shown it yet, the color. So these are the colors. This was the main skein and the mini skein. This is the pattern that I decided to do with it. This is the ooh, is it the Sunflower Power sock? This pattern has you do sunflowers all the way through it, but I've already tried knitting that pattern, and sock knitting is supposed to be easy. It's usually something that I just do in the car. That's usually the only time I really knit on socks, most of the time. My evening knitting is usually sweaters and stuff. So I don't want to be hauling around 2 skeins of yarn and paying attention to a chart when I'm knitting in the car. So I just did the top a little bit, had fun with it, and moved on with stockinette. So this knit up so fast. Well, yeah, it knit up really fast. And it was so enjoyable to watch it knit up. And I am really proud of how it dyed and how it looks. I just love it. So this sock set is called Falling Leaves for September. And I like to, for my sock set club, I like to pick colors and name the colors after things that are going on in my life, I guess, or just things that make me happy in general. And the reason I did Falling Leaves is because lately my daughter and husband and I have been going across the street. There's a little, not huge, but it's a little grass field out there. There's a community garden out there and it's really cute. But there's also a lot of tall, mature trees and lots of leaves this time of year. So my daughter and I go out there, and sometimes my husband joins depending on whether he's doing homework or in class or whatever. But we go out there and we pick up leaves and we go 1, 2, 3 and throw them into the wind and they blow away. So that's been really fun. Fun little memory for us. So I had to have a sock to remind me of that, of the time that I threw leaves into the wind with my daughter. And she doesn't count 1, 2, 3. She just goes, I say 1, and then she goes, do, which is flippin' adorable. So every time I wear these socks, I will think of my little daughter and our 1, 2, 3, and I'll also think of my grandma because my grandma loves sunflowers. So I'm glad that I was able to get at least one of these socks finished. Yes, I absolutely loved this. Again, I modified it because I didn't do sunflowers all the way down. I did 1 row of color work. And I didn't switch needle sizes. I think it has you play around with needle sizes, but I just did everything on a size US size 1. I followed the directions for my size. And then when I got to the stockinette part, when I was done doing the color work, I decreased, because it has you decrease out to do this motif. But since I didn't do the motif all the way through the sock, I decreased back in. Did I say decrease the first time? I increased out for the sunflowers. I decreased back in for the stockinette. And I took this idea 100% from Carslee Handmade. She did a sock just like this, like contrast pop of color at the cuff, 1 row of sunflowers, and contrast toe. And I 100% stole the idea, which is genius because I love the pattern. I just can't bring myself to do stockinette or color work all the way through the sock. So I don't know exactly how she did hers. I don't know if she knitted her size and then decreased back to the number of stitches normally for her sock size, or if she kept the number of stitches. I don't know exactly what she did. You'll have to go find on her Instagram page. You can find the socks easily through her posts, but that's what I did. So I'm glad that she did that and inspired me to do that as well, because I really wanted to knit the pattern, but this was perfect for me. Perfect amount of color work. I absolutely love them. So these are super cute. I did them on DPNs because that's just what I choose to do color work on. I don't like doing, for socks, I don't like doing color work on magic loop, and I don't like doing color work on mini circulars because then it just gets too tight and it's not enjoyable. So I did DPNs and I think it turned out really good. I don't think I've even blocked these yet. I don't think. So turned out pretty well, and it'll flatten out even more as I block it. So that was a lot of fun. If you love that, the Sunflower Power socks, but the idea of doing sunflowers for the whole sock is daunting to you, try just 1 row of sunflowers. Totally recommend. And I should mention that it calls for a German short row heel, I think. I used, what is this called? The Eye of Partridge heel flap. Is that what that's called? I love this type of heel flap, and I usually go for that. If a pattern calls for something else, that's what I use for the most part, unless I have to use a German short row or something. Anyway, Those are so much fun. I'm so excited to do the other sock. I just have a billion socks on the go right now. I've just got to get through them. And then I'm also going to open up the sock set subscription for anybody to join the subscription. So for 6 months, you can order the 6 months worth of sock set subscriptions. You get 1 sock set per month. So I'll put the link for that in the description is below to get a sock set each month. So, okay, the next finished object is super exciting. It's not completely finished. I'm done with the knitting. I just need help deciding something. So it is my blanket. I finally finished the sucker. This thing is massive. I measured it, and if I'm remembering off the top of my head correctly, it's 39 inches by 51 inches. Yes, I think 39 by 51. It's massive. It's great. I was knitting it and I was like, this is not going to be as long as I thought it was going to be. So I started knitting at the bottom, like nice and long, cast on, and then you knit up and it's done here. And I was expecting to knit, so I cast it on the length, how do I say this? So you have a rectangle, right? The long sides are the length, the short sides are the width. I thought I was casting on the width, but I was casting on the length of the blanket. And so as I was running out of yarn, I was like, this is not as big as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was casting on the width, meaning I was going to knit for longer than the width was. But I was knitting for shorter than the cast on because I was knitting the length of the blanket instead of the width of the blanket, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I think I did a good job explaining that. Anyway, so this is the perfect size for sitting out on the couch with your feet up and having the blanket go from like your belly or your waist over your feet if it's lengthwise. So it's perfect size. It's so thick and cozy and squishy and warm, and I'm so glad that it's done. I started it like November or December last year. And so I'm so glad that this did not go longer than a year. We were getting close and I was like, no, I have to finish it. I have got to finish the flippin' thing. So I finished the flippin' thing. I knocked it out. So I had 3.5 skeins left of yarn. And I was like, hey, this sucker is getting done. And so I sat down and that's all I worked on for like 2 days. And I realized how quickly I would blow through one of the skeins because it's bulky weight yarn. And so just whoop, gone, right? It goes so fast. And I didn't realize that. And I felt like this blanket was taking forever because every row takes 15 minutes to flip and knit. But there's not very many rows. And I didn't realize that. It's such a fast knit because it's bulky. And I was thinking how it takes 15 minutes to knit a row. I wasn't thinking it takes so fast to get through a skein. So I guess in the future, I need to think about skeins instead of rows, which I guess I kind of do. It depends on the project. But anyway, I have kind of sort of blocked this. I stole my in-laws steam iron. And blankets are so hard to steam iron because they're massive. And you can't just lay it flat on the ground and then steam iron it because the water will fall out or whatever. So at first I was holding it up and my husband was steam ironing it, but then it was stretching out. And so this corner right here is like overly stretched. And it's kind of wonky. It's not a true rectangle anymore. But, and it was burning me because I was holding it up and he was steaming it and the hot air came through and let's see. And I got a good burn. But then I laid it over the piano bench that I didn't care about and put something heavy over the top of it and like pulled on and stretched out and pulled on the blanket steam block, pulled on the blanket steam block just so that I could I could be more methodical. Methodical? Is that the word? I could be more precise about how I was stretching it rather than just letting the weight of it stretch it out, if that makes sense. So I do need to stretch it out a little bit more because, like I said, this part is very much more stretched than, say, this part, if you can tell. I don't know if you can even see that, but Anyway, and then after I did a quick little steam blocking, it grew widthwise by like 4 inches. So now it's 43 by 51. So it grew 4 inches widthwise. So it did grow quite a bit widthwise. So it's now even bigger, which is really fun. But I have all of these little ends on the sides to weave in, because when I was purchasing the yarn for this, there wasn't enough of this where with the sparkle through it. So I did the math and I figured out how many skeins that I would need, and I got enough of these ones and some just plain white, and I figured I can figure out how many yards are in each, how many yards I'm gonna knit total, and then figure out how often I need to knit with this. So I do have every 3 to 4 rows of the sparkle yarn, I did 1 row of the white yarn for the most part. I try to make it kind of random, kind of similar, but you really can't tell that it's in there. Not really. If you look closely, you can tell that the plain white yarn is slightly different white than the one with the sparkle spun into it, but you really can't tell at a glance. So I'm really happy that that turned out good, because otherwise I would have to knit from different dye lots, like go pick up yarn after the project is through and then have different dye lots, and I didn't want to risk that. So I'm glad that I went that route. It turned out really well. So I have all of these ends to weave in. I don't want to. And I think the pattern calls for having the fringe on the ends here. And originally I was like, I don't really care for fringe too much on blankets, so I'm not going to do that. But now I'm like, heck yeah, I'm going to do that. I mean, look at all these things. And it's on both sides. I have this many on both sides. It's so many. So I'm thinking about making those into fringe, just tying them in a knot, adding more, because I have this much more white. And then I don't know if that's quite enough to get a good, healthy amount of fringe. I'm thinking about adding like a rust color or a brick red color, because so our house, we live in a brick house, and obviously the walls in the house are not brick, but they're in front of the fireplace. There's tile that's all geometric and really cool and fun right in front of the fireplace in the living room, which is where this blanket sits, on the couch in the living room. But that tile is a brick color, so I'm thinking about adding brick into, like adding that color into our decor. Because at the moment we just have grays, whites, brasses, there's only one color of brass. Grays, whites, brass, and wood, like natural dark wood color as our decor in our living room. And I'm getting more excited about color as I'm getting into knitting and dyeing yarn and stuff. So I'm thinking about adding rust into our decor. So I could easily add like a rust colored yarn to the fringe. So I have white and rust going on. I think that'd make the blanket even more fun and interesting. And then I could get a couple throw pillows that are rust colored and some vases and frames and whatnot. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you would do in the comments. Let me know if you do the fringe, if you would just suck it up and weave them all in. Let me know. This blanket has been sitting on the couch for a little while. We've been enjoying it. Whoa. Those birds are intense. Sorry. So this blanket has been sitting on the couch a while, and we've been enjoying it a lot. So I've been putting it on while we listen to our book in the evening, while I knit in the evening. It's been great. I really enjoy it. And my daughter loves it. Every morning, I plop her on the couch with her milk, and she has to have, while I make breakfast, and she has to have the blanket on, which is great. And then my husband always walks into the room to see the dog snuggling up with a blanket, and he always takes pictures for me and like, hey, look, Twinkit loves the blanket that you made, and it's so sweet. Anyways, I'm so glad this is done, you guys. I guess on to the next blanket. I don't know. We'll see. The next ones will not be as big. If I ever knit another blanket, I know I will knit other blankets. I have some in the queue, if you want to call it that. But I probably won't knit massive ones like that. Maybe once a year, once every couple years, I'll knit one that big, but the rest are going to be smaller. So I am planning on this Sweet Shop blanket with my Advent this year, and that was going to be pretty big. So maybe I'm lying. But anyway, I'm excited for that one. That'll be more enjoyable than this one because you're changing all the time. You have different colors. It'll be good. Okay, and the last finished object is my mom's shawl. I finally finished this one. I was knitting on this one very slowly. I don't know why. I felt like it was taking forever. I kept messing up. I kept ripping back. The yarn is enjoyable. The concept is enjoyable, but the pattern is not particularly helpful. I mean, it is, like, it tells you what to do and you can get a finished object from it, but just for me, I would enjoy more words. A little bit more explanation in the pattern. This is, I'm not even going to try to say the word. This is a shawl for my mom. I always put the pattern name on the bottom of the screen and the designer. And I always put, by the way, if you're new here or if you haven't noticed, I always put all the patterns and all the designers in my description below. So if you want to see any of these things, I'm not really big on making Ravelry project pages, but if you want to see any of these projects, like if there's a pattern for it, I always link the pattern below. Even if I just mention something, most of the time I put it in the description below. And if it's a test knit and there's no pattern yet, I at least link the designer on Instagram or Ravelry down below. So you can always find links to things in the description. Super easy. So anyway, so this is the shawl that I made for my mom. One of the times that she came to visit, we went to the yarn store. This was not particularly recent. We went to the yarn store and we were just looking at yarn and she saw a shawl on the wall and she goes, "Oh, that looks pretty." And the owner said, "Oh yeah, that's knit with Malabrigo's yarn. Let me show you." And so she showed us and my mom was like, "Huh, Camry, would you make me one of those?" And I was like, "Sure, if you'll wear it." And so she's always freezing. So she got the yarn. We found a pattern. This is not the pattern that we saw in the yarn store, but we found a pattern that was simple but pretty and fun, and this is what we came up with. So this is, I don't know if this is the normal size for a shawl or if this is kind of small, but I hope that this will stretch as it blocks. It is garter stitch and it is eyelet, so it should stretch quite a bit. I don't remember what needle size I used and I don't remember what needle size the pattern calls for, but I do remember I started a gauge swatch, I think with the intended needle size, and it was looking way too loose and open for garter stitch for me, and I didn't really particularly love the way it looked. The way it looked, my goodness. And so I went down to needle size and I was like, I don't care, I'm just going down to needle size because I think it just looks better. And it's a shawl, so it doesn't necessarily need to fit perfectly like a negative ease garment would. So I just went down to needle size and I said, whatever. So and you can wrap it around you. Like, you can. It's just a little snug. I think blocking will really help though. So, and obviously I still have some ends to weave in because you know me. I finish a project late at night because I'm excited to finish, and then I go to sleep. And then the next day is a new day and a new project. So, really pretty. Malabrigo's yarn is very soft, very fun to work with. It's nice drape, I guess. It's nice. So, yeah, I'm excited to get this to her. She's talking about maybe coming in November, end of November, December. We'll see. It'd be fun to give it to her in person, but depending on when she visits next, I might just have to mail it off to her because she lives in Utah and I live in Ohio. So, not all the chances in the world to send it or to just bring it to her, but look how pretty. Anyway, that one was fun. Like I said, was taking forever to knit it, and then I was on such a finish streak this week because I did this sock, I did the blanket, what was the other thing? This! Looking for the finished object, didn't on my body. I was finishing all the things and it was so exciting, and I almost finished another sock. I'll show you in a bit. And so I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna knock it out. I'm gonna pound it out. And I, if you remember from the podcast a couple weeks ago, we were so ready to just be done with these things. So So I made a goal in the last couple weeks to just really finish those little things that have been lingering, like the blanket and the shawl and some socks. So I did a lot of blanket, shawl, and sock knitting. Blanket, shawl, and sock. Blanket, shawl, and sock knitting. Say that 10 times fast. But anyway, so I'm glad that I took the time to do that instead of just rushing through sweaters like I've been doing. Okay, so this is how much yarn I have left. It's around 90 yards. And I did the math, and I have about 90 yards of mohair as well. I have more, not just this. This is about half of that. But I thought about holding them together to make a hat or something. So this is a worsted weight. This is the mohair lace held together. I think they'd be kind of fun. They're in the same color family. I'm eager to see how they would knit up together. I don't want to have this much yarn laying around, and I don't know what to do with it, but adding a mohair would help bulk it up a little bit. So I don't quite know what pattern to do. I think I could squeeze a toddler-sized hat or a baby-sized hat. So it'd be Aran weight or bulky weight held together. I think I could squeeze out a hat for my daughter in this, though I don't know. Have you guys used... I'm asking for advice here. So leave your ideas and suggestions and whatnot in the comments. But have you guys ever knit a child garment with mohair? And if so, did they hate it? Because it can be very soft and it can be very itchy. I don't know. Any ideas? I have 90 yards of this and 90 yards of this. So about 90 yards of a Aran/bulky weight project that I could knit. It'd be fun to do a hat for my daughter, though, and that's my only idea at the moment. That's not very much yardage, but maybe one of you know. So let me know if you have any ideas for that, for what to do with this leftover, because I have a lot of ideas for scrappy blankets, but they're all DK/fingering weight, and this is worsted/Aran/bulky, whatever I decide to do there. So if you have any ideas, please let me know, because I think it'd be a lot of fun to hold these together and knit something out of it, but I don't quite know what. So if you have any toddler hat ideas, it'd be fun to make myself a hat, though I guess I don't wear a lot of blue. I love blue. I just don't love wearing blue for some reason. I feel like it just kind of makes me look pale and washed out a little bit. I don't know. I just like warm colors on me better than cool tone colors. So anyways, give me some ideas. I think that'd be a lot of fun to hold these together, but I don't quite know. So let me know in the comments. Let me know. Okay, I have some other finished projects that isn't knitting. I like to show my little dye projects, my little spinning projects as well. So I will show those. I finished spinning I think I I can't English today. I think I've shown this project on the spindle or on a Nitty Naughty a few episodes ago or a last episode. But I finally took the time to get it wet. I don't think you call it blocking. I don't really know. But I got it wet and I thwacked it. And it's in a cute little skein. Look how cute that is. This, like I've said in the past, I want to start the northeasterly blanket. I know that calls for fingering weight, but I'm just doing whatever weight. And I want to put all my my little test spins into that blanket, just so I can have a blanket of all my funky little spins. So that'll be fun. I think this is decently even all the way throughout. It's 2-ply, kind of fun. It's rainbow. It's really interesting. It's just fun to see how different dyed rovings knit up or spin up, and then I'm interested to see how it'll knit up. So it's just fun. So that's that. And then I did do some fun dyeing not only for orders, but dyeing for fun, to just practice dyeing and playing with color and dyeing new things and yarn for myself from my own bare yarn stash, which I'm so excited about. But I made 2 of these little mini skein sets. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love these. I'm calling this Autumn Bouquet or Autumnal Bouquet. I don't know. Autumn Bouquet. And I did dye 2 of these. So I have one of them on the shop. So if you want it, go hop on the shop right now and go get it, because there's only one. I'm so excited to knit with this. I want to do the Halfsies socks. I think that'll be a lot of fun, just because that's a different construction that I've ever done before. they're funky looking and they require a lot of colors. And I don't want to just do vanilla stripes. I want to do something fun. So that's what these are going to be. I don't know when I'm going to start them. I might start them tomorrow. We'll see. I just want to see how they knit up. I've been dyeing a lot. I want to see how my dye techniques are knitting up. So I'll show you them all. So this is a rust color that is tonal but variegated because it's all the same color, but some parts are lighter and some parts are darker, so that'll be pretty. This one has rust and gold in it. I just squirted them all over the pan. Really fun. I love this one so much. So pretty. This one's just gold, pretty straight tonal. There's some spots that are a little bit lighter. This one's green that I just splotched green here and there randomly. So much fun. That was a lot of fun too. And then this one has all three colors just squirted all over, and it's very muddled together. So it's just a nice variegated. So that one's really fun as well. And I won't use all 5, like the whole 20 grams of each skein to make the Halfsies socks. So I'm thinking about starting a jelly roll blanket or a different northeasterly blanket, just so that I can use up all my scraps in there, because I'm gonna have a lot of little mini skeins and scraps and sock scraps, and I don't like having random things in my stash that I have no plans for, and I don't like wasting stuff. So I might do that, but I have no pressing plans to start that. I will say though, if you are running over to the shop to get the other set of this, do know that I messed up when I was breaking the main skein down into mini skeins, and some, like, they're all 19 or 20 grams. 2 of them are 19 grams, the rest are 20, I think, somewhere around there. So it is discounted by a couple dollars just because they're not a full 20 grams. So do know that, please. It's written in the description of that product listing, so just know that. Anyways, I am gonna open up, I'll put the link to the description in the below as well, but I am gonna open up, so these are the colorways from August and September sock sets. I am gonna open up October's sock set to order just the single sock set if you don't want to have a subscription, but you just want the October sock set. So I'll put the link to that in the description below if you want just a surprise sock set for October. It's going to be Halloween themed, but not like blaringly Halloween that you can't wear it every day of the year. Like, it's not going to be like bam orange, bam purple, bam black, bam green. It's not going to be bright Halloween colors, but it is Halloween and fall themed. So I think it's a nicer, not that Halloween colors are not nice, but it's more toned down a bit, if that makes sense. Anyways, I don't want to spoil anything too much. So if you're interested in that, some people have shown interest. So if you want to just order the October sock set, I'm going to dye them up this week. So you got to get on that quick. So I also dyed roving in the last couple weeks. This is my first time dyeing roving. It's not at all how I wanted it to turn out. I also need to practice my braiding or whatever you call this, because it's not good. But this is one of the things that I got at the Fiber Fest that I went to, and I'll talk about that later. But this is 100% merino wool, but it's 17 micron. So anytime you see a number and then the word micron next to yarn, like in yarn, at a base, pay attention to it, because the smaller the number, the softer the yarn is going to be, or the wool or whatever. So these, if I remember correctly, are 21 micron, and these are pretty soft. This is 17, and this is oh so soft. Oh, so soft. I felt, because it was bare roving, I felt it in my hands. I was like, oh my goodness gracious, take my money now. Which is scary because I've never dyed roving. I've been super interested in doing it, but, and of course, the first one that I get to dye myself is the softest, most luscious thing I've ever felt in my life. Well, maybe not the softest, most luscious, but very soft. And so I was scared to mess it up. I don't think I felted it, but these are not the colors that I was going for. I don't think I soaked it long enough in water before dyeing it, because I meant to do it just like this. Because I've been meaning to do a video of yarn that's dyed the same style as roving, spin up the roving so you can see the difference between the yarn and the roving that's spun when it's dyed in the wool versus dyed in the skein, and then knit with it and show you all the differences just so you can see kind of what to look for when you're looking for yarn. And so I meant to do that with this, and you can see some areas are white or yellow and some areas are a little bit more rust, but it was just a big mess. So I started dyeing it the exact same way I did this, but I didn't soak this in water long enough. So the outside of it was like a shell of wet wool, and then the inside was like a cave of dry wool. And so as I was dyeing it, it was striking on the outside of it, but I had to like pull it apart and let the dye and the water and the acid and everything kind of seep into the inside of it as well. It's just a big mess. And then I was like, okay, you know what? And I dumped a ton of water on it. I tried doing low immersion, so very little water, but it was a mess. So I just put a ton of water in there, pulled it apart so all the water could penetrate everywhere, stuck it in the heat for a little bit, and here we are. I don't think I felted it, maybe a little bit in some places, but I think this is totally spinnable. And some parts are still white, but it's my first. It's still decently pretty colors. It's not what I was going for, but it turned out better than I thought it would. When it was in the pan, it was so ugly. Such a gross color, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So it's kind of fun. I'm excited to knit or spin this. So I did get some good work on my April cardigan. I finished the body, and I've almost finished the first sleeve. I'm kind of worried that this is too small, but I know the garment is less ease than I've used to lately. I've been knitting a lot of oversized things, not including this one, but I've been knitting a lot of oversized things, and so this just seems pretty small. But it'll obviously grow with blocking, but it's turning out so fun. I absolutely love this yarn. This is Kelborn Woolens, strawberry, heathered strawberry, I believe. And I don't remember the base. It's the DK base. And it's so much fun. I haven't worked on this in like a week or a couple days or something, and now that I'm looking at it again, I'm like, man, I just gotta finish it so I can wear it. There's not really much to say about this one. I'm just knitting it exactly as it's called for. I like using DPNs on my sleeves just because I don't like using magic loop unless it's a thin needle with a smaller circumference. Anyway, very enjoyable. I'm really enjoying this one. I'm excited to finish this one. Maybe it'll be done for the next episode. Actually, I was going to try and finish it this week because I can knit a sleeve in a day if I really work on it. But I started other projects that I was way more excited to work on. And I'll get to those in a bit. But I will show you the next one is my striped sweater. Okay, I haven't worked on this one in a few days either. And that's because it's like massively not good proportions. I'm loving this. I need to restart it, and the plan has been to restart it. The sleeve is just way bigger than I want it to be in circumference. And the other thing I didn't like about it is that I want the shoulders to drop a little bit better than they are. I feel like the drop shoulder is landing like here instead of here or something like that. And in my heart, I know I just need to restart it. And so that's the goal for this week, is just to just restart it. It should be a quick knit because it's a large gauge. So I won't have a hard time catching up with where I am. I don't have to like redo a ton of math or anything. So I'm going to restart it and fix a few things. And I know I'm going to be so much happier with it that way. It's not fun to work on a project when you know that it might not turn out well. It might not fit well. Like you kind of dread working on it more and getting to the end and finding out all that work went to nothing. So I'm going to rip it out while I'm ahead and just start it again, which I'm excited to do. I haven't worked on this project in quite a few days or even a week or two because I knew I just needed to start again. And so I'm excited to get back to work on this one because I can also see the finished object in my head. I'm so excited to see it when it's done. I'm so excited to wear it as well. So that's the plan. The plan is to restart it this week, fix a few things, and we'll be good to go. Okay, the next whip you have not seen yet though I have been talking about it like probably every episode. If you've been here before, you know I'm obsessed with this cardigan. I've been dying to start it, so I started it. Because I finished the Wren sweater, and I finished this, and I finished that, and I finished that. So I finished a ton of things. That means I get to cast on a lot of things, right? So I casted on the Minou cardigan, finally. I didn't get a whole lot done, but this is just like my treat. This is so much fun to work on. I forgot how much I love the stitch pattern. It's so good. It's so much fun. It's popcorn knitting because you finish the row and you're like, okay, the next row, the next row, the next row, because you're always doing something and it's just so much fun. But it's not, you're not doing so much to where it's not enjoyable. You know, like I don't love doing patterns where I have to have a cable needle every single row, but this one's the perfect balance of half fisherman's rib, stockinette, and what's it called? Cables. It's perfect. I absolutely love knitting this pattern. And I'm so excited for the cardigan because it's gorgeous. So I'm excited to do this one. This is the top right here. That's what this is. It goes right here. So I'll knit the back panel, and then you pick up stitches here, knit the front, pick up stitches here, knit the front, and then you knit down, you join it. It's a cardigan, so you don't do in the round. You just do back and forth, which I don't mind on this pattern because it's not just purl, 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 purl. It's a bunch of knits and purls. So it's always very engaging and so much fun. This yarn is 50% merino and 50% alpaca, locally spun, locally grown. So much fun. I can definitely feel some of the spinning oil in this still. So I'm hoping that as I wash it, it softens up a lot more. It's kind of soft, but it's definitely, I mean, it's not this, which is fine. I'm not super sensitive to itchiness or anything. So I'm beyond excited for this. But this one is going to be a slower project. I have a lot of other things on the needles, as you can tell, and as you will see. But this one is just my happy one. So as I have another sweater that I'm just making it up as I go, just like the striped one I just showed you. So I have two sweaters on the go that I'm just making up as I go. And so having one that I just know it's going to work out, and I know how to do the stitch, even though it's complicated, I know what to do. And I know, like, the pattern is very well written. And so this is the one that will keep me going when I get frustrated with the ones that I'm just making up as I go. So I'm loving this. I'm so excited to have this, even though it'll be a while. I'm not holding myself to any promises with finishing this one fast. So, but we'll see. I changed my mind a lot. I forgot to show you another sock that I'm working on. I normally show sock whips towards the beginning, but I started this one for my husband, and this just feels like a massive sock for me because I never knit the leg this long, and it's a 72 stitch sock instead of a 64. So this is for my husband. When I first started dyeing, I grabbed a couple mini skeins and I dyed them all the same, planning to make a sock for my husband, and he loves red. And I didn't want to just do red, I wanted to practice speckles. So I did gray, and I threw a bunch of red speckles on there, not having done a lot of research on speckles. So this is how it turned out, and we both were like, that's not very pretty. It kind of just looked like a zombie threw up on it. So we call this the ugly zombie yarn, but it's not that ugly. I'm knitting it up, and I'm like, whoa, this is the most fun thing ever. I think the red bits help a ton. I think if it was just plain this, it wouldn't be quite as fun, but the contrast color helps it so much, and I'm very proud of myself because it's turning out so good. I was getting ready to knit the sock, and I was like, okay, I just need to add I need to add a contrast color to it. I think it'll help it so much. And so I grabbed another mini skein. I dyed it this red, and I think this red works well with the red speckles. They're not the exact same red, but I think it turned out really well. I have like another inch or inch and a half or something to do on the foot before I do the toe decreases, and I'm just so excited. to finish this sucker up and get the other one going. So this one's a lot of fun. So I know there's patterns out there that look just like this one, but I'm not using a pattern. I'm just doing it. So I will link a pattern that looks just like this one, but I'm not going to say that this is that pattern because I don't want you to be like, oh, I'm going to knit a sock that Camry's knitting, and then go buy that pattern and be like, wait, that's not the same as Camry's, because I don't know. I've never worked from that pattern. So it is ribbed, and then it just has the stripes up top. When I'm in front of a camera, I just can't talk. I've been seeing Summerlee Knits, Summerlee Design Co. Do a lot of socks with these 2 stripes up top, and they're so much fun. So I was like, I'm just gonna do that for my husband's sock. And so I did it, and it's so much fun. So I'm glad I did that. I have just 1x1 rib up top, and then I have 3, I think, by 1 rib throughout the rest of it. And then I'm doing like I said, this is my go-to heel. I have partridge heel flap. So good. So much fun. Look, it looks like it's done when I don't show the bottom. But this one's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. And my husband likes it too. When I hold it up for him, he's like, oh yeah, that actually turned out good. I was worried when I saw the yarn in the skein, but it's turning out good. So he likes it too, which is good news. So, okay, I've been dying to show you this project. I've talked about it a few times. Like in my fall knitting plans video, I showed a picture of a sweater that I saw on Pinterest. When I saw that sweater on Pinterest, I was like, whoa, that's funky. I need one. So I made one. I haven't found any patterns. I haven't searched super hard for a pattern like this, but I was like, you know what? I could just do that myself. And then I'd have more fun figuring it out for myself because I can do whatever I want. So I took some yarn from my stash and I dyed it up. So this is the main color. Okay, I've been dying to show you this project. Full Moon Sky or Full Moon Night. I think it's Full Moon Sky. And I'm starting a colorway of the month. I might not do it every single month, but this is the colorway for October. So if you were, it's a black, but not completely black. Just like the sky when the full moon is out is not totally black either. It's pretty bright outside. So this is a tonal but kind of variegated black. Parts of it are dark gray, parts of it are black, parts of it are very dark blue. It's very fun to knit up. I'm knitting with it right now. So that's the main color for the sweater. So I wanted to show you that. You can find the link to the shop in the description below if you are interested in it. A lot of fun. I love the way it turned out. It's really great. And the way the colorway of the month works, I've only dyed this up on this base, on this worsted weight base, but you can order it in any base that you want. It could be a slightly different shade. Like I know mohair and surrey might be a lighter shade of that color, but just so you're aware, not all bases dye equally. But you can order on any base that I have listed on the site that I have dyed before, and I know that I can dye well, and then I know that I like the base. So anyways, that's that. That's the main color. And then I dyed up on the same base this color. I love golden yellows so much. And this is like a burnt orangey golden yellow. So good. And I dyed this one. This is the same as Distant Mountain Ranges, but it's a little bit darker. And it's okay. It works with the black a little bit. There's enough contrast to be interesting, but not super contrasty to have like a billion different colors in the sweater. And then this rust color. Oh, I love it. I love this color so much. So those are the colors for the sweater. And here's the sweater. It's on a small interchangeable needle cable at the moment, so you can't see super well. And I've had to rip the sweater out twice, which killed me, or once and a half, 1.5 times, and it killed me. But here's the sweater. So that top color is Full Moon Sky or Full Moon Night. I can't even remember what I named it, but so that's the top color. And then the other colors are these funky little bits in here. And you can't really tell what's going on with the color work yet. Oh no, I'm always dropping stitches because this is a small cable. So you can't really tell what's going on with the color work, but you can see the colors together because I have all 4 colors in there now. So there's Full Moon Night, the rust, the burnt orange, and the dark blue. So much fun. And obviously this is upside down. But I'm going to have color work from the bottom of the sleeve where you join in the round, clear to the bottom where the bottom hem is. Same on the sleeves. And I'm so excited. So I was doodling up a bunch of color work ideas, and then I got to split for the sleeve, or not split for the sleeves, join in the round. And I did the color work doodles before I figured out how many stitches I would have to work with. And I fell in love with my color work design ideas. And they didn't work perfectly well with the number of stitches that I had on needles. So I was figuring out where I can add stitches or take away stitches, and figuring out how I can rework the color work chart so that I can still have basically the same thing, but work with the number of stitches that I had. And I worked on that for like hours the other day. And I got to where it worked, and I got to the part where I was ready to start doing the color work on my sweater. And I realized that it was not working, and it was gonna have like 15 inches of positive ease. I didn't do a whole lot of math before I started. I kind of just went because I just want to enjoy this project and just go for it. So, I mean, I did do the math, but it was turning out way bigger than I thought it was, because I thought, well, my gauge is just different than I thought it was. I used a different project that used the same yarn. I used that as my gauge swatch, which is dumb. I used the same needles and everything, but my gauge is totally different for some reason. Maybe because I did it back and forth on this and in the round that. But anyways, so I ripped it all the way out. The first time I ripped out a little bit, added stitches here so that I could make the color work chart work. And then I got to join in the round, and then I was about to start the color work, and I was like, no, this isn't working. I'm not about to knit a whole color work sweater, put it on, and hate it because it doesn't fit right. So I ripped the whole thing out. I went down a needle size, and I started all over again. And I was dying because I had this rust color sitting in front of me the whole time I was re-knitting the whole yoke, the top part. And I was like, I am dying. I have to cast that on. I have to get to the color work part. I just can't wait. So I knitted like a madman, and I got to the color work part. And then I spent some time on it last night doing the color work, and it's so much fun. I'm so excited to finish this and show it to you. So I might be knitting on this like a crazy human because I'm just so excited to see how it turns out. I might just knit my little fingers off. So we'll see if anything else gets work on it this week, because I'm loving this so much. Let me see. Do I want to show you my chart idea? Or do I? No, I'm going to leave it as a surprise. I'm not going to show you my little chart doodles. I did post it on my stories. I kind of post a lot of things on my stories. So if you want little teasers and to see more behind the scenes stuff, go follow me on Instagram and keep your eye on my stories, because I don't keep secrets very well on my stories because it's gone in 24 hours and who cares anyways, right? And that's the place that least people see. So go check out my stories if you want all the secrets spilled. Okay, that is all the knits on the needles. I do have a spin on the go, and this is an acquisition. So this is, oh boy, fuzzies are falling off everywhere. So I can't remember, honestly. I'm pretty sure this is just 100% alpaca, but this is, like I said, I'm pretty sure 100% alpaca. It's super soft. Look how fun that is. And I'll kind of jump into acquisitions after this and share all of the fun goodness from the week. But so that's what it is, and that's kind of what it's looking like spun up. So much fun. So this one, don't make fun of me if my words are wrong, because I'm new at this. Remember that. I'm new at this. So I think it's the staple length is what you call it. How long each individual fiber strand is. And the staple length I think is pretty short. And so it's my draft. This area is ripping apart very easily and falling apart very easily because the staple is shorter than I'm used to. But it's still so much fun to spin up. It's so soft. I have spun with a silk blend before, and that one's really soft. But I'm really also just, this is so nice. I love the way this is spinning up. It feels so soft spun up. And I'm really proud of that because I think all of my past spinning projects, all the past yarns that I spun have not been very soft, which, I mean, I'm not expecting them to, but I think I've had quite a tight spin on all of the other things that I've done, and I'm trying not to twist it too hard. I'm trying to have less tight of a spin here, and I think that's helping. Obviously, the fiber helps. Alpaca is extremely soft, but this is not spun quite as tightly, and I think that also is factoring into it being a little bit softer. I think if I spun it super, super tightly, I don't think it would be quite as soft as it is now, but it would still be softer than some of the other things that I've spun because it is alpaca. So it's been a lot of fun. This is altogether a 4-ounce, I believe. I didn't weigh it myself before I started spinning. I was excited to just start spinning. But I believe I got a 4-ounce ball. And most 4-ounce balls look about this size from what I've seen. So that should make me a good, because 100 grams is like 3.5 ounces, I believe, something around there. So I should have a good 100 gram-ish skein. And from that, I believe I can get a hat. So if I have enough yardage, I'm planning on making the Essential Beanie with this spin. Because, and I'm jumping into acquisitions now, I went to a Fiber Fest 2 weekends ago, and I spun on a spinning wheel for the first time, and oh my goodness, I want one. It was so much fun, so satisfying. I'm dying to get one. And part of me is like, Christmas money is coming up, and I can get myself a spindle. And when I was there spinning, I was spinning on an Ashford something, and the lady from I was spinning Angora fibers, so I was spinning with super soft rabbit fur. Like, what? Anyway, the lady from the next booth came over, and she got all excited about spinning with me. We were all nerding about spinning, the 2 different booths, and me. We were all nerding about spinning, and people were stopping to watch me spin, which was weird. But the lady from the next booth over was like, hey, you don't have a spindle, like you don't have a spinning wheel. If you're interested, you should get this one, this e-spinner that I have. I use it all the time. I love it. And it's really affordably priced. It's like $280 out the door. You have everything you need. I was like, oh no. That's dangerous. You just ruined me. I have to get it now because I was expecting to have to pay almost $600 or more to get any kind of spinning wheel. But to have an e-spinner for $280? Okay. And so I've been thinking about it. I really enjoyed the pedal wheel. I don't know any of the words, I'm sorry. The pedaling was very therapeutic for me, and I really loved the Ashford spinner. But I don't think having like a full-on real spinning wheel is very practical at this stage of life for me. For one, I don't have the budget. For two, I don't want to put it in a place that my daughter could get to it, climb on it, and hurt herself and hurt the wheel. And I don't want to lock her out of any of the rooms in our house. I don't want to keep it in the basement because I don't want to spin in the basement. And I don't want to keep her locked out of my piano/craft room. So I don't think it's very practical for me to have a pedal spinning wheel right now. I think an e-spinner is perfect because I can spin wherever I want in the house. It's very portable. I think an e-spinner is perfect for me right now, even though I might enjoy a pedal one better. But for now, I can have fun with an e-spinner, get better at spinning, enjoy spinning, actually be able to spin enough yarn to use in an actual project. And in the meantime, I can save up for a gorgeous spinning wheel. I've been talking to friends about spinning wheels, and they've been showing me what they have, and I'm like, that's what I want. That looks so pretty. That's gorgeous. I want that one. But they're obviously higher budgets, higher budget spinning wheels, whatever. And so I can get a lower budget one now and get a higher budget one in the future and just spend time saving for one now so that I can have the one of my dreams later on. And I'm totally happy with that. That's a great plan for me. So I figured before I get a spinning wheel, I have to knit an actual project with my own hand-spun yarn. Because if I hate knitting with my own hand-spun yarn, then why spin, right? Unless I don't. Anyway, maybe I can just spin to just spin. Do you have to knit with it or weave with it? I don't know. But I think this is a perfect project. Only one ball, 1 4-ounce ball, 1 skein. So drop spindles do take time. They take a long time to spin with. So that is a consideration. That's why I'm going with like a hat or something that's less time commitment, I guess. Not a whole sweater quantities on a drop spindle. Heck no. But I think this will be perfect. And I love the fiber. It's spinning up so fun. I really love the browns and the grays and the whites mixing together. Very fun. And I'm sorry if that didn't focus. I don't know. And it's very soft. So I'm very much enjoying this. It's been a lot of fun. So anyways, I got this at the Wool Gathering. I don't remember what shop. I'm sorry. That's really bad of me. I don't remember what store I got it from. But this was at the Wool Gathering in Ohio. I gotta go to that again next year because everyone was so nice. And everyone was so willing to talk dyeing with me and spinning with me and yarn with me and knitting. And it was a lot of fun. I went with my mom. She's not a knitter or a weaver or a spinner or anything. She's tried spinning before. After I got into spinning, she's like, oh, that's fun. So she found a place near her that she could try out spinning. And so she's done it before and she had fun with it. But anyway, she went with me and we had fun. It was a lot of fun. And I'll show you the other things that I got. But first, like I said at the beginning, we also participated, not ran. I mean, we ran most of it-ish. Half of it? I don't know. A half marathon. So this is my medal. My participation medal. I finished it. I did the thing, and it hurt so much. But I did the Air Force half marathon, and we didn't train for it. We didn't train for it at all. Well, 2 weeks before we started running more. But when I was pregnant with my daughter, before I had my daughter, I loved running. And I wanted to do a half marathon, but I always kept getting plantar fasciitis and I just never could finish training. And then I got pregnant with my daughter and I was like almost ready. I was like 7 or 8 months pregnant and I was like, I need to like sign up for a marathon or a half marathon for like a year after I have my daughter or something like that. So that after I'm all healed after giving birth, I jump in and exercises, and then I have to exercise because I signed up for a half marathon, and then I can get in shape. And I'm not that kind of person. I'm the kind of person who just lives my life, and then when my weight gets a little bit higher than I want it to do, then I start caring about my calories and exercising. And so I somehow dragged in all my in-laws, and my husband into doing it with me. So we ended up not doing it last year because we didn't train. So we pushed it off to doing it this year, and we still didn't train for it. And we all had injuries. So it was my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my sister-in-law, my husband, and I who all did it. And none of us trained. So we all started running together, and we're like, we're going to stick together. And I was like, I know you all are just going to leave me because you all have this weird thing in you that makes you just go. And you just work hard and you do stuff and you make not that they make themselves miserable, but they're like, I'm going to do this. I don't care how I feel. I'm going to do it. And that's just the way they are. So we started running and we're like, the goal is to run 4 miles and then, walk half a mile, run a mile, walk half a mile. So we got to 4 miles and I was like, okay, we did the 4 miles. We're going to start walking now. And everyone's like, I feel good. Let's keep running. And I was like, no. And they're like, Camry, we'll walk with you. We want to stay as a family. We're going to stick with you. I was like, well, now I feel like an idiot. I'm just going to keep running with you. And so we all kept running. We got to like mile 6 or 7 or even 8. I don't remember. It's all a blur. We might have gotten to mile 8. And we finally split apart and we started walking more. But my husband kept running. He ran almost the entire time and he had not trained at all. So he blew, showed us all up. And then we broke off even more. My mother-in-law and my sister-in-law walked, ran, and my father-in-law and I power walked the rest of it because I had my plantar fasciitis and he had something happened to his knee. I can't remember. But we ended up almost finishing around basically the same time, 5 minutes after my mother-in-law and sister-in-law. It was crazy. And I was like, never again. It was so painful. And then that same day, we finished the half marathon. We went and got smoothies. We went home and showered. Everybody else took a nap. My mom and I went to the Fiber Fest. And I walked around, hobbling around like a pregnant lady because I was so much pain and so uncomfortable. But hey, we did it. And then I went to a Fiber Fest, and it was all good. And I spent money at a Fiber Fest. My acquisition is my medal. I'm counting that as an acquisition. But the reason I tell that story is because right after that we went to the Fiber Fest, and oh my goodness gracious, I was in so much pain going to a Fiber Fest right after doing a half marathon, which is like around 13 miles, by the way, my friends, after not exercising very much, not being in shape. Ooh. All right. So I showed you that alpaca roving, which is so much fun. It's so soft. The next thing, I mean, not a whole lot of super exciting things, but I did, like I said, I got this bear roving that I then dyed. So I'm excited to see how that spins up. That'll be probably some fun yarn. And then the other things that I got, let me grab them. Again, I don't remember the shops, which is so sad, but I got this retractable tape measure because the one I have broke. It's super cute and fun. And that shop, everything was so decently priced. It was amazing. So I got me a new retractable tape measure, which is great. And I got a Nitty Notty. She had this Nitty Notty for like dirt cheap. And I was like, I need a Nitty Notty. Because the Nitty Notty I have is 1 yard. So it's pretty small. And my husband 3D printed it, which I love it. And it's great. And it's so functional. I'm so glad that he 3D printed that for me. But it's also nice to have a bigger one. Not that I'm going to have that much yarn to do on it, but they're also good for putting yarn into hanks as well if you don't want to use your Swift. So it's nice to wrap it around your Nitty Notty and then twist it into a skein rather than putting it on your Swift and spinning it around. Either way works, just kind of depends on my mood. But anyways, so I'm glad I got this one because it's a good size. And if I get a spinning wheel, then I will need it, so. And then I also got some marigolds, some dried marigolds to do some natural dyeing with. So I've been interested in natural dyes, but the seasons are changing and it's harder for me to find flowers and things. And I'm not particularly green-thumbed. I've tried growing things in the past, but I always overwater and get them moldy. And this place gets mold in Ohio. It's so much more humid, so it's easier to get things moldy. I don't know. I'm not good at it. I would like to be good at growing things, but anyways, in the meantime, I got these fun little marigolds. So it should make a nice, like golden yellow, burnt orange-ish color. And there should be enough here to get me. So she had samples dyed up with this amount of marigolds, and so I should be able to get a light golden yellow because I'm going to do 100 grams instead of her sample, which had 50 grams. So I'll have a light golden yellow color. And so I'm excited to do that. I think I'm going to just do sock yarn and then end myself the season socks by, what's her name? Summerly Design Co. So that'll be fun. And I'm excited about that. Okay, that is all the things I have to show you today. That was a lot of things. All right. That is all for today. I know that was a lot. If you're still here, thank you. Because that was a lot, and it was a lot of rambling. But it was a lot of fun. I had a good few weeks, and it's crazy to sit here and see all of the things at my feet that I've done in the last 3 weeks. It's just so much fun for me to spend time doing these things at night. It's such a stress reliever for me after spending time with my little kiddo who screams for fun and just stressful things in life. Like the other day, something super stressful happened, and then my husband took my daughter out to go grocery shopping or something just to give me space, and I knitted during that time, and he came back home, and I was so excited, and I was jumping around and singing my silly little songs, and he's like, wow, you're much happier. You're good now? Are you not stressed anymore? I was like, oh, I forgot I was stressed. I just got to knit for a while, and so I'm good now. So I'm just, this is just my happy place. So I'm loving these crafts, and I'm glad that I found it. So anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for dealing with all my rambliness and all of my random projects. It's a lot today. I know it's a lot. But anyways, in the comments, let me know about that yarn. Give me projects for the yarn. And then the other thing I asked, I think I only asked for one more idea for my blanket. Should I put fringe on the end? Give me tips for how to add fringe to the end of that blanket, how I should do it, maybe what color to do. how to go about doing that. If I should do it, whether I should just weave in all my ends. Yeah, let me know. And let me know what you think about the projects that I'm just winging it on, because half the time I make stuff up or I dye something or I do something, I'm like, I love this, but do I love this? Is this weird looking? Am I the only one that thinks this is cool? So let me know what you think of all the things that I've talked about. Especially let me know what you think of the sweaters that I'm just making up as I go. Yes, let me know. And if you liked what you saw today, definitely hit that like, or yeah, the like button. Definitely like the video, subscribe to the channel so that you see more from me in the future, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. You can find me here, obviously, on YouTube at goldenhour.knitwear, and same on Instagram, goldenhour.knitwear. And I will put a link to my website in the description in case you're interested in checking out my website. But anyways, thank you again. I will see you next time. Bye for now. Thanks, guys.